Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica Lorraine Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C.
This is the state flying over by aircraft, amplified audible activity, and Amtrak repeatedly. This is in excess of 10 times overnight. And I'm arriving at the museum after I document on podcast group stalking by the people at the intersection of Euclid and Hull. Amtrak engaging in ongoing terrorism, amplified audible activity, and again doing so overnight at 6:05 a.m. and that's acting with the state. Ongoing audible activity, P.O.C. This is the Amtrak train tracks used as a means of stalking and engagement and creation of ongoing audible activity, which is substantially amplified by the state, which is literally just playing a tape of the sound of a train that is incessantly sounding, and which is turned up substantially loud in order to shock with sound. Louder than that, the state was doing it louder than that, and the state is engaging in mimicking as it's listening to me document, okay? And the sound that it was creating, imitating a sound of a train, the state's doing it louder than that, and doing it as a means of, and you're talking about right now, it's 6:14 a.m. Since 10:30 p.m., as of right now, in excess of 10 times using the Amtrak train tracks, all right, and now acting with plane activity. The state was using Amtrak train as a form for audible activity all night long. As of 10:30, when I essentially arrived at the museum at around 10:30 after 10:30 p.m., where Ontario police were documented. I captured that in video. Amtrak engages in, and again, this is Amtrak train tracks, which is the guise into which the state is creating ongoing noise, audible activity. And so Amtrak used in excess of 10 times over this time schedule. This is 10. I'm going to say approximately 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock, up until right now 6:15, in excess of 10 times, and louder than that. The state is turning up the volume of the sound of a train, right? And this is used as a means to harass while they're monitoring. That's terrorism documented by Amtrak. The state is literally just using a train, not even an Amtrak train, just running a train back and forth, in addition to creating artificial noise of a train because the train tracks are there at the museum. It is 6:14 a.m. and that's P.O.C.
What's up? Oh, okay. 7CTJ405. 6CKX478. 7FJK511. 8XPY103. 8RWH007. Patrolling around in the parking lot. Audible activity is the sound of the truck. 7W92710. 4BQM489. 8VSH549. Group stalking. He likes to sit in this parking lot. Captured this one before. He's stalking. 6GND731. Fake sun is no longer at that intersection. It's right over me as I go to this back part of the parking lot and get license plate of 6GND731. These are demon-possessed individuals. I'm not just documenting them engaging in federal stalking. This is demonic activity that I'm revealing. These are psychopaths, in other words. These are people that really need more than medication. They need to be understood. These are demons that are engaging in this conduct, targeting with an individual. 6XGC562 is touching, and he's going to be on camera inside of Starbucks, touching with the state, directed light like a laser bouncing off in front of his vehicle, while the fake sun is directly over the building of 706, just like you saw with the Ontario Police Department yesterday, under the fake sun and directed light bouncing off like it's a laser to touch. That's the sex offender and the psychopath. It is 8:10 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, you have some very potent demonic activity ongoing. This is terrorism inside of Starbucks. And the light activity that I showed you before I stepped outside and caught the fake sun, this light activity that is on the ceiling, this dynamic light where I guess this is supposed to be bouncing off the car. This is unnatural light. This is engineered light that the state is aiming onto surfaces and angling it inside of the venue. Sunlight is not reflecting off of vehicles inside of the windows and the drive-through window and through the depths of the cafe. And it is also not only that, while I'm sitting at the table at this would be the north side of the Starbucks, near the corner of San Antonio, the state is touching me with light that is moving along the entirety of the venue, okay? This is demonic activity, and this is very intense demonic activity. Starbucks is engaging in ongoing terrorism, while the third-party group stalkers are patrolling in and out with this ongoing circus of lights inside. And this is also demonic hostility to what they are listening and monitoring me document about their criminal conduct. And this is how and why Starbucks will be documented and exposed as engaging in terrorism, okay? They are sex offenders. This ongoing monitoring is ongoing inside of the private space while your panties are down. And they're engaging in that stalking conduct with this ongoing light that they focus in on at that private area. And you have what is the ridiculousness of this light that is, again, while third-party group stalkers are patrolling in the drive-thru, they're patrolling inside of the venue, and light is moving on all of the walls and the ceiling, okay? That's P.O.C, and this is very intense demonic activity. So all of them that you see on surveillance cameras, I'm speaking to what are demon-possessed actors. This is demon possession that I'm making clear, and this is a very demonic environment that they are acting in right now, and this is terrorism at Starbucks, okay? And so I just want to document that, including while I'm sitting at the north end of the table, this light that is over here, supposedly, I guess, coming, I'm not even going to guess. The state is suggesting, as I've shown you, regardless of the fact that you're also looking at
This is not the sun. That's not sunlight, and that is not a light that's ever going to occur from sunlight, even if the sun was physically visible over 706 West Holt or the intersection San Antonio. This is not sunlight. This is the state's engineered light, and this is ongoing dynamic light moving at all angles on all walls, all right? And doing it with simultaneity to the patrolling conduct of the third parties in the drive-through. They are acting in concert. That's monitoring, and it's demonic, all right? And that is not sunlight that's occurring as cars are driving around. And this is also what is that translates into what is terrorism. So I want to make sure that I'm clear. This is how this is how the state is engaging in terrorism, and these are demons. This is demonic activity in what is the brand that is Starbucks, and that's what needs to be known. These employees that are on camera, these are demon-possessed stalkers. They are engaging in what is demonic activity. That is unmistakable. They are acting in concert with the people of the state who are entering in, buying coffee, engaging in terrorism and federal stalking, while they are surrounded by what is dynamic light moving all over the ceilings, the walls of the entirety of the cafe, in no way ever occurring from some vehicle driving in the drive-thru. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's 8:25 a.m. And I want to make sure that I document they're also engaging in sexual molestation in concert. I got the sex offender's face, but understand he's not acting by himself, just like you saw the Ontario police officer, while the fake son is over me at the Ontario Over Family Community Library, and he drives in the turn circle of C Street, and the fake son, regardless of the fact that it is hitting the passenger side of the vehicle, and then you see what is directed light, white lines of light, just like I showed you in video last night. That was directed light in the dark, all right, not headlights. That's the state's directed light. This is what the Ontario police engaged in. That's concerted conduct with the state. That is aiming light all over the place, and it's revealing what is demonic possession, okay? This is what you are doing inside of a venue. It is revealing demonic possession, and this is terrorism by Starbucks, so I want to be clear on that. That light activity, that's occurring through the entirety of the cafe. Absolutely ridiculously impossible and unnatural light activity, but the entirety of the environment, all right? This is demonic possession. And on top of that, remember, it's not just the impossible light activity, which also, by the way, you're going to recall my documentation from 2019, where none of this light, the state was doing the exact same thing, okay? Stalking with the fake sun over me while I'm at this venue, following me to and from this venue as I was going from my car at Vine and G Street and the car at Fern and G Street. And none of this light activity that the state is doing now, all over stretching through the floors, across the floor, that's not what the state was doing. Okay, the state was using the doors as they open, spanning light, as I showed you at the Ontario Over Family Community Library. That's an old tactic. The state engaged in aiming light inside of the venue, but not stretching it across the floor like this, like what you see, and not this stationary and dynamic light. The state would try to avoid my ability to document it. So as I would try to take a picture or take video, it would immediately disappear. All right, so what you are seeing is what is embrazen demonic conduct, which is absolutely unnatural, all right, and that's not a mystery, what the state is doing. So the question is, and that's what I'm answering as to why you have this light activity that's occurring, because they are monitoring with communication devices and because this is revealing what is demon possession, all right? And that's going toward what is terrorism. This is how they are engaging, and they being the state, the entity, and the people together engaging in terrorism of American citizens. This is how the United States engages in terrorism, okay? So, and that's what that is, all right? In addition, understand, my point is, it's not just the light activity, which is terrorizing, okay, as the entity is monitoring and stalking, all right? You have what is the stalking with noise conduct. These demon-possessed stalkers are also following you with noise as you engage in any physical movement or activity on your communication device and on the internet, all right? In addition to the fact that they're doing the same thing while you are engaged in private activity inside of the restroom. Stalking with activity as they listen to you pull your panties down and use the bathroom. Okay, maintaining relevant positioning in the path while they are maintaining real-time knowledge of what you're doing in the bathroom. That same stalking conduct in this light, with that audible activity. That's terrorism, okay? And doing it in concert with the fire department, the Ontario Police Department, and American Medical Response, okay? That's acting with the state. That is terrorizing. All of them sex offenders together, engaging in terrorism together, all right? So this ongoing light activity, I want to be clear that I captured, it is filling the entire cafe, including touching all over my person, which is absolutely ridiculous light under any circumstances, but the state is also engaging in touching while doing that as well. And I want to make sure that I specifically document that. You want to be clear with regard to all of the places where the state's fake sun is located. And you have what is, again, being where I am, in addition to remaining in my face at after 6 p.m. as Tracy Bakes comes on the 10 freeway, after it remains in the window as she travels north to get to the 10 freeway, after the fake sun remained over the Ontario Over Family Community Library since 7:30 in the morning, and then it is in alignment with me at Norm's restaurant in the city of Claremont. Okay, this is the light source, and this is terrorism. And Starbucks is the template for prosecution of a brand such as Starbucks engaging in terrorism, because that's what this is. And this is terrorism upon sexual violence. All right, upon stalking, federal stalking. It is 8:29 a.m. and that's P.O.C. $55072B2 8GDX 302 6CNN 189 6KHW 097 7KRD 741. These are sex offenders, okay? And these are terrorists. They're engaging in terrorism. They're surrounding the building in relevant position, acting with the barristers inside of the venue, while you have a circus of light activity inside, absolutely impossible light activity, while the state's fake sun is here in direct conflict with the long existing documentation. This is demonic activity as I am identifying them. These are demon-possessed individuals, okay? And they're stalkers, and they're demon-possessed stalkers, 7C89918. All right? These are sex offenders. So I want to be clear on that. That's audible activity under fake sun. There's nothing normal about any of this. 6ZNN189. Every purchase that is made is a matter of documentation. Everyone entering on the surveillance cameras is a matter of documentation. Everybody that's making a purchase through the drive-thru, it's a matter of documentation. They are present under this deliberately maintained environment as they're engaging in criminal conduct of federal stalking, and they are engaging in what is the terrorism. They're contributing, they are present, and that is why this environment is ongoing. While they are in the parking lot, the state is touching and aiming light all inside of the windows of the venue. Absolutely ridiculously impossible. Understand that that is the outward demonstration of demon possession. Not just the state that's aiming that light, but the actor that the state is acting with. It is revealing demon possession. 6ZNN189 is not just engaging in federal stalking. I am identifying one that is demon possessed. Okay? And you know this by the conduct that 6ZNN189 is engaging in right now. That goes for the Ontario Police Department. It doesn't matter that they're wearing police uniforms. You need to understand they're engaging in criminal conduct. They're criminals. And that's what I have revealed. And these are sex offenders, and these are demon-possessed stalkers. And I am not exaggerating. That is exactly what the document, and they're kidnappers as well. But that is exactly what the documentation has established. And that's what's ongoing. That's why you have the fake sun over Starbucks at 706 West Holt while I'm here. And it is clearly over the side of the library, over the back parking lot of the library as I move there and I get this group stalker in the Ontario police vehicle. And then you have it remaining over my head as I sit at the front of the library. Okay. And it remains there all day long. That's why you see it as I am looking through the door of the library at 215 East C Street. All right, this is not in any way this is in no way irreducible direct evidence against the people who are demon possessed, and this entirety of that system is demonic. Okay, so I'm going to prosecute the entity as a whole, right? I'm speaking to what is a criminal act by the state, and I'm identifying those who are criminals to be prosecuted, sliced apart at federal prosecution, but also revealing what are demon possessed actors. This is demonic. 8VQF386 8H15586. Demonic possession. And all they are doing together is maintaining presence, stalking with the state. Okay? Sitting in the drive-thru with their turn signal on is light activity under the fake sun while you are stalking in the path, and while the state is also filling the Starbucks with impossible light activity. Demon possession. 8H15586. That is P.O.C. It's 8:47 a.m. Amplified plane activity. 8:47 a.m. Plane activity as I finish that recording. These demons are under the fake sun, and the state is stalking with planes. Just like it is at the museum, just like it is when I'm at the library and they're flying directly over 280 North Lemon Apartments behind me in plane and helicopter. Direct evidence against the people. They're stalking through the drive-thru. These are demonic possessed actors. All right, light activity all over the place. This ongoing theme with light, it's demon possession. That's what's letting you know what's wrong with them. All right, all of them together, including the state, are stalking. Entering on camera and documenting themselves. And so what you are witnessing is the absence of any right to engage in monitoring with the government, and that's why they're going to be prosecuted. They're engaging in terrorism with the government. They're engaging in criminal facilitation of that criminal activity, which is also sexually violent with the government, which they don't have a right to do. Being clocked in at work, you're in relevant position. You don't have a right to do that while you're monitoring, and you're monitoring. That's why that light activity is present, and you're going to be prosecuted for that. You don't have any First Amendment rights to do so. 5HRU838, this female wearing a Stater Brothers apron, a blonde ponytail. She walks in and out, which is called patrolling under the fake sun while the state is amplifying plane engines. That's P.O.C. It is also monitoring, I want to be clear, at Tom's No. 1 Burgers across the street in relevant position. They are engaging in the same exact monitoring conduct on those surveillance cameras of that property as well. Ontario Village, the entire Ontario Village is monitoring, but I'm standing outside and I'm looking at the venues, and I just want to be clear, monitoring is spanning beyond 706 West Hall Starbucks, and Tom's is right across the street. They're monitoring. It is 8:49 a.m. 6XMR 850. It's 8:50 a.m. All right, this is a demon. I want to make sure I document this. This is a demon-possessed actor driving in the parking lot, and blinding light is what coexists with his patrolling under the fake sun, okay? This is a demon-possessed stalker. He is in license plate 7S87110, the same with 7RES504. Okay, let me get these group stalkers over here. They're just maintaining presence. That's what they're doing. The state's criminal pattern of conduct is underway, and there is no form. They are maintaining presence. This is group stalking by sitting in the drive-thru of Starbucks where the fake sun is maintained and where directed light is filling the inside and outside. 27459Z2, 8CXB 368. All right, that group stalker driving the blue truck. He's wearing blue jeans, black shoes, and a brown shirt with stripes at the upper portion of that t-shirt that he has on. He has on a face mask as well, balding at the top of his head. He is a demon-possessed stalker, okay? That trademark, the ongoing outward demonstration of demon possession marked by their conduct, acting in concert with the state, this feature of this impossible light activity that coexists with their presence, all right? This is terrorism, all right? This is the same thing that I just documented with the license plate 7C99 as they exit. You have what is the this blinding light. This is a feature of what is demonic activity, okay? They are monitoring, and these are demon-possessed stalkers. 5WPH949. Right? And this is light that the state is also directing inside of the venue. Absolutely impossible light. All right. This is the state's engineered light. This is concentrated light. And just understand that this is revealing what is demonic possession. All right. So I'm not just identifying criminals that are engaging in federal stalking. I'm literally identifying the demon possessed, because that's what this is. It is 8:53 a.m. At 8:54 a.m., the state is amplifying the sound of plane engines at Starbucks while these group stalkers are lining all around the Starbucks via the drive-thru under a fake sun and directed light, patrolling in and out. And I want to document Burtech engaging in kidnapping, all right? Kidnapping with the intent to obstruct justice. A Burtech employee engaging in federal stalking, driving license plate 55072B2. He's got his Burtech badge proudly on his chest. He's a group stalker. In that same company, using that company vehicle as a means of providing ongoing light activity, engaging in federal stalking with the deputies of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department as I was kidnapped, Burtech monitoring and engaging in kidnapping while engaging in federal stalking while I'm in that kidnapped state. All right, so you have what is a Burtech employee coming in, engaging in federal stalking, crossing path under the fake sun and indirect light while the state is amplifying plane engines. And I just want to mention while I'm at it, Burtech engaging in ongoing acts of federal stalking in concert with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department while I was kidnapped by that entity between the time of June 18th to August 16th, 2021. All right, engaging in federal stalking with the state, where the state kept its fake sun, which was nowhere over 706 West Hall. The fake sun was over the vehicles that the Sheriff's Department were driving me in real-time movement, just like you see when I'm in Tracy Banks' vehicle, and I've shown on Omnitrans, and I've shown on Metrolink, and the state's fake sun remains in the window where I am at. The state's fake sun remaining over the Sheriff's Department vehicles that I was driven into the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. Burtech engaging in light activity using those dumpster trucks, engaging in relevant positioning via traffic, monitoring with the Rancho Cucamonga Police Station, which is the Sheriff's Department. All right, that's P.O.C. It's 8:56 a.m. Paper plate BD77Y04. I don't know if I read this one. I'm sure I did, I think. Yeah, 8CXB368. MHP 352. All right, driving a white Tesla, black t-shirt on and a black face mask. No front license plate. I'm gonna get the back license plate. License 8VPB018. All right, fake sun is over the edge of the building, of the roof, right? While I step forward to get license plates. But yet when I walk inside, the state's fake sun moves back in order to be seen through the window while I'm inside, nowhere near the front of the entrance of the Starbucks. That's the state's real-time migration of its light source. That's demonic. That's a psychopath. Literally moving it around to keep in alignment with me, with where I'm at. That's exactly what the people of the state are doing. This is demonic activity on a massive scale. It is 8:59 a.m. That's called amplification under the fake sun. All right, I just took video so you can see impossible light as they are maintaining, they being the people, they're maintaining presence, they're maintaining light activity in concert with the state under the fake sun. And even under the fake sun, this light activity is not occurring naturally. This is the state's directed light. Their concerted presence with that light activity is accomplishing federal stalking, and it is also terrorism, as these are demons engaging in targeting conduct. BG70T91 is a paper plate on a Corolla, and 7HMH287. Paper plate BR72R17. It's 9:01 a.m. It is 9:02 a.m. Group stalker meeting me in the parking lot. She drives in as I start walking. 6BJA501. Ontario Police is crossing path as I move in the parking lot. Fake sun is moving as well. Ontario Police vehicle number 1010. State is flying, making a U-turn in the sky space. An impossible light as these vehicles move around. Ontario Police is group stalking at the intersection of Holt and San Antonio right now. And the state is stalking by Ontario Police. All right, I did capture the ongoing demonstration of demon possession by the Ontario Police who are stalking. And again, as I move from the front entrance area of the Starbucks, group stalker 6BJA501 enters the parking lot. Ontario Police crosses path on Holt Boulevard, and Ontario Police is what I'm capturing is the stalking with light using their vehicles, their police vehicles as light activity under the fake sun, which is over me in the street, not over the edge of the building in front of the entrance doors. As I move, the fake sun is moving. As I move, the Ontario Police and the group stalkers are moving. Maintaining presence is a demonic activity, and that is the revealing of the demon possession of that agency, the Ontario Police Department. Federal stalking and criminal facilitation of federal stalking, and this is terrorism as they are engaging in demonic activity together. 7HMH287, 7EQG327, in case I didn't read that. And it is 9:05 a.m. and I captured that on video. 6BJA501, she's a heavyset Latina with a black t-shirt on and black bottoms with a face mask on and a ponytail. She's stalking with activity as she exits her vehicle, sounds her horn on her vehicle as her alarm as I am moving. So she sits in her car and she waits for the opportunity to create activity. That's the stalking with activity conduct. That's the mark of demon possession. She enters on surveillance camera, and she's doing so as she's engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. Next door at Guadalajara, Estilo Guadalajara, in a white van, a group stalker is patrolling in and out of that parking lot. And as he drives by, where the fake sun is hitting what would be the passenger side of his vehicle, You have what is impossible light hitting the wall of the vehicle while he is entering in the parking lot. The wall of the building that he's driving by. The state's fake sun is hitting the passenger side, but yet you have impossible light appearing what is on the opposite side of the driver's side of that building as he drives by, okay? That's the marker of not only demonic activity, that's the state's engineered light while they are doing nothing but pacing back and forth all around me. All right, that's federal stalking conduct. That's the elements of monitoring. It's demonic activity, and that's next door at Guadalajara, Estilo, Guadalajara. They're monitoring. License 7ELL864. Possible light activity as that license plate opens the passenger side door. 8UFY369. And that's an overweight Latina with a ponytail, tattoos all over her left arm. She's entering on camera right now at 9:08 a.m. as she opens her door. Impossible light activity streaming onto the patio in the shade. All right, impossible light activity. Demonic conduct. That's again license 7ELL864 is what she gets out of. Here's another demon-possessed stalker, license 7SNA076. And 8UFY369, he's entering on surveillance camera right now at 9:08 p.m. This is a short little midget, black shoes on, dark blue pants, and a black t-shirt, black hair, short cut. P.O.C. This is just patrolling. It's 9:08 a.m. All right, so you have the hallmarks. First of all, the state stalking by aircraft and amplifying that, the state's fake sun, the directed light, and the Ontario police engaging in stalking, using their lights and conspicuous stalking conduct. These are the hallmarks. This is P.O.C. All right, license 7DQP398. Group stalking via the Omnitrans bus stop, okay? Loitering in relevant position under the fake sun, and also the provision of form for Omnitrans to engage in stopping at that stop, creating audible activity under the fake sun, group stalking via a bus stop. There is no form. They are monitoring. All right, it is 9:11 a.m. In case I did not read this one, 8DCF273. 8SZR129. Let's see. Eight MLB 905. Omnitrans is crossing path. It is currently 9:12 a.m. License plate. Let's see. G. Hold on, let me get this one over here. And a red pickup truck in the parking lot. It's a red F-150. This is all demonic activity. License GGC8NRT in a red F-150. 8RWH007, I believe I read that one already. Impossible light activity while this group stalker opens their passenger side door. And the fake sun is right over here while I walk to this part of the parking lot. And I'll show you that in a video right now. This is license plate 7MNT418. It is 9:13 a.m. I'm going to show you what is clear migration from Holt Boulevard. And it's in alignment with me as I stand in the street, and it's as I walk to the opposite side of the parking lot to document third parties. The fake sun is right over here on this side of the parking lot. I'm going to show you right now. Alrighty, capturing on video what is the real-time movement of the state's light source. Or group stalkers are maintaining presence in the parking lot, patrolling via the drive-thru, patrolling via traffic, maintaining presence at Tom's, maintaining presence at Tacos Estilo La Guadalajara, patrolling, all right, including acting with the Ontario police. This is rampant demonic activity, especially as I call it out. The demons engage in more and more of it, all right? This is why Starbucks is packed right now, not because it's a popular restaurant, because they're engaging in federal stalking. And as I'm documenting it, more and more come. This is demons. This is demonic activity. License 8XTK268. 7MVE941. All right, fake sun now back out at the center of Starbucks next to the logo sign as I move. All right, as I move, the fake sun is moving. 9:14 a.m. 6MVE941, in case I did not read that one in the drive-thru. All right, 8SMY287, sorry. It is 9:16 a.m. 8SMY287 is entering the venue right now. He's got a cap on his head, camouflage shirt, blue jeans, light blue jeans, and tennis shoes. He's entering on surveillance camera. It's 9:17 a.m. and a group stalker exits. This is patrolling. And the other groups, there are two of them that are exiting. They enter and exit. This is called patrolling. Repeated crossing path on foot, maintaining presence in the parking lot. That's sitting in alignment, and patrolling via the drive-thru. This is relevant positioning. This is group stalking. The pattern of conduct is underway. It is 9:17 a.m. All right, I want to document on my podcast third parties that I documented en route to this venue of Starbucks at 706 West Hall. License 86556K2, 8XVU316. 3MQD083, Ontario Police, crossing path while I am walking west on Hope Boulevard, and the state's fake sun is moving from the Ontario Museum of History and Art at 225 in alignment to me over the side of the museum that I'm sleeping on and hovering over me as I move west down Hope Boulevard. And Ontario Police are crossing path, monitoring with the people of the state, monitoring and driving west on Hope Boulevard. And this is license 8CEB007. This is the license plate of the group stalker that I capture monitoring with FedEx, as FedEx is providing instrumentalities of federal stalking, engaging in terrorism, flying over me at the same time that this group stalker is stalking with light, drives in an alley, using its vehicle as a means of light activity, stalking in the path with light, while the state is amplifying plane activity. That's engaging in terrorism, and the correct license plate is 8CEB007, license plate 7N41269. And license plate 8RIC5. It's 9:19 a.m. All right, it is 9:25 a.m. I want to document Starbucks, third-party facilitating venue, not playing any music as of my arrival. Begin playing music, which is audible activity in directed light, under the state's fake sun, acting in concert with the people of the state as I begin uploading my podcast. And that's the use of internet. So they're using it as a means of monitoring. They wait until I engage in that conduct to turn on the music. All right, it is 9:25 a.m. and that's P.O.C. All right, I just took images of what are, and again, the pattern of conduct doesn't stop, but as the state engages in, as they engage in ongoing activity, and by activity, what I mean is molesting my body with light that is coming from the side of the building where the parking lot is. Let me get this license plate, 8JKL107. The state creates impossible light activity, touching all over my arm, touching on my person. This is just light appearing out of the atmosphere, just out of nowhere, at the same time that I engage in a new activity on my communication device, opening up a new browser. That's terrorism, and I took pictures up close so you can see demon-possessed stalkers who enter the venue while this light activity is ongoing. They're engaging in patrolling. State's fake sun is remaining stationary over the venue, and this is monitoring, but this is demonic activity. And you are looking at what is nothing other than relevant positioning. I took pictures of what are group stalkers that are surrounding inside of the venue and outside of the venue. And I want to speak to what is the ongoing molestation with impossible light activity while demons are entering in and out while this light activity is ongoing, as they are together monitoring what I'm doing on the internet. License plate 8UCP797, 5KGY223, 7KXG059, 6PDC600. And again, they're monitoring at Tacos Estilo Guadalajara, all right? Right across the street as well. 7FJK511, 5WGN401. I just want to make sure I get those license plates because those are the ones that are patrolling, entering inside of the venue, and they are maintaining presence,
Stationary presence. You're talking about a multiplicity of faces, just like in traffic. They're maintaining presence via the drive-through, okay? While the state's fake sun is here. It's 10:36 a.m. And so the state's fake sun is I captured at the back of the library when I am at that part of the venue after I capture it directly over the edge of the entrance while I'm there at 10 o'clock as I'm entering. I'm inside of the venue. State's fake sun is moving to the front and the back as I captured. It was 10:15 a.m. while it's at the entrance, and 10 a.m. I've captured, but I'm speaking to a specific day because I want to give you an example. The fake sun is over Starbucks at 706 West Holt, west of that address, and it is piercing directly over the venue. And so this is just another visual as to what is demonic activity while these actors are engaging in terrorism with the state. Light just coming out of nowhere, touching on my person with simultaneity to what I am doing on the internet. So understand, this is federal stalking, 18 U.S.C. territory, and this is terrorism while the entity is engaging in that demonic activity, because that's demonic. What the state is doing with light, touching with light, stalking with light, following with light, and doing so while they're, as a group, maintaining presence. Entirely demonic, and this is everywhere you go at all times, day and night. All right, that's demonic activity and it's terrorism. 5UAE 257, 6WXC 965. All right, and the heavyset male, yeah, I read his license plate 7KXGO59. It is 10:37 a.m. All right, I did capture a video just so you can see what is another visual of that, which I've already established, but I just wanted to make sure I punctuate my point as I engage. You're looking at what are psychopaths. This is demon possession. They're sitting at a table next to me. I took the picture of those group stalkers' faces. They're creating audible activity, stalking with Starbucks, criminal facilitation of that stalking activity, while, again, they're maintaining presence, acting like they're just talking and chit-chatting inside of Starbucks, while impossible light activity is filling and touching all over my person. That's demon possession, okay? That's a sex offender, and that's a terrorist. Acting with the state pursuant to what I'm doing on the video of the internet, so that's federal stalking. It is 10:39 a.m., that's P.O.C., and I did capture videos so that you can see what is the state's fake sun west of 215 E.C. Street, all right? And it's not just west of Polk Boulevard. You have to go north up to get to the library entrance. And again, like I've already said, this is long established. State's fake sun is also remaining over room 237 at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, all right? But I just want to punctuate my point because I'm going to prosecute for terrorism and sexual violence and federal stalking. And so you have the fake sun here. All right, that's irreducible direct evidence. You have what is molestation with directed light with simultaneity to what I'm doing on the venue of the internet, federal stalking, all right? And in doing so while they are engaging in what is terrorism, as this is demonic activity. All right, it's 10:40 a.m., that's P.O.C. All right, let me be specific with regard to the light activity that I'm experiencing, which is terrorism of the ordinary target individual, okay? It's fluorescent color, like white color light, and it appears on my left arm. I'm sitting at the north end of the Starbucks cafe, so I am facing the barristers behind the bar that are preparing drinks. I'm facing the register, okay? So as I am facing the south portion of the cafe, on my left arm and on the table and on my chest area, white light rich concentrated white light in the shape of like lines, thick bars, lines, appears on my arm, appears on my chest and the table in front of me, with simultaneity to my pressing the button on my phone to go to a different browser, go from specifically Internet Explorer to Mozilla Firefox. This is operation on a communication device. This is on the venue of the internet. This is with simultaneity to that conduct, all right? This is both demonic and this is federal stalking. All right, this is terrorism while they are engaging in that criminal activity. Ontario police remain present monitoring. Understand that. What I captured on video, what I capture in pictures, what I capture pursuant to what is occurring in directed light and under a fake sun is speaking to what is ceaselessly underway. And the Ontario police are the same demon-possessed agency acting in concert with the people, monitoring as they are engaging in this criminal activity as I sit inside of the Starbucks. So let me be clear, they are not separate from the ongoing pattern of conduct as I'm documenting it, okay? And so I just wanted to make sure I'm specific with regard to the directed light that is occurring with regard to what I am doing inside, and you are looking at what are images of psychopaths while they are present, engaging in stalking with the outward form of ordering coffee drinks. This is criminal activity and it's terrorism amongst demon-possessed actors. It's 10:43 a.m. at 706 West Holt Boulevard under the fake sun. That's P.O.C. Currently 11:13 a.m. and what I'm taking images of is the directed light that is in real-time movement, this dynamic light, which is demonic activity, terrorism, while you're looking at what are psychopaths engaging in pacing around, stalking with activity as they move, walk to the register, walk back to the table, enter in to make a purchase, walk to the bar and stand and wait, walk to the trash can, walk back. What they're doing is stalking with activity. The drink preparers, the employees of Starbucks, who I'm also taking images of, are stalking with activity. The state is, I'm taking pictures of also what is the directed light that is present, and then you see it gone moments later with simultaneity to what I'm doing and also acting in concert with the group stalkers in the drive-through. This is impossible light activity, this is monitoring, and it's demonic. And so I'm taking pictures of the group stalkers that fill the venue as they are actively engaging in trying to obstruct that process on the internet. So it is both federal stalking and understand this is entirely demonic, while psychopaths are entering and exiting, engaging in stalking as I'm taking pictures of them, because that's what you're looking at, with knowledge of what I'm doing. And this is the malice with which the people engage in what is federal stalking and what is demonic activity, which is terrorism. And that's what I took pictures of, and that's what you're looking at, in addition to that ongoing environment that they're doing it in. There is no form. I am speaking to what is revealing blatant demonic conduct amongst the people inside of Starbucks at 706 West Holt Boulevard. And I just uploaded about 78 pictures to my Google Drive. And you're looking at, as I take a picture, for example, as an employee comes from behind the bar, stalking with activity as they're trying to block the ability to upload. All right, I select upload the files, and then nothing happens. This is monitoring. All right, there's nothing wrong with my internet, nothing wrong with my phone. They're engaging in monitoring. And so I'm taking pictures at the same time. I'm multitasking. As they're doing that, I'm taking pictures of it, so you'll see what they're doing while I'm active on the internet. All right, this is P.O.C. It's 11:15 a.m. All right, I am on surveillance cameras walking from the table seated at the north end of Starbucks and walking to the restroom. And at 12:38 p.m., surveillance cameras are showing that I remain inside of the restroom. You have audible activity creation as what sounds as the bathroom door opening and closing in alignment to me, which is audible activity, relevant positioning. First of all, that's P.O.C. But also understand Starbucks employees, and they have reserved this bathroom for purposes when I'm here. They've stated it's specifically this bathroom that only patrons can use. So I just want to be clear, their pattern of conduct is engaging in the creation of audible activity while I am inside of the private space under the guise of an employee using the bathroom on the opposite restroom across this little walkway, and that is supposed to be the form of audible activity creation inside of the bathroom. I am hearing what is the door opening and closing, and that is audible activity creation. This is Starbucks engaging in sexual violence. That is the ongoing pattern of conduct, and they are engaging in that in concert with the state. These are indeed sex offenders. Every single last hallmark documented this morning at this venue. Fake sun, directed light, stalking with the police, using their vehicles as light activity, literally everything. And you have what is engaging in the pattern of conduct with the sexually violent, while they enter inside of that bathroom with the criminal motive is monitoring and stalking inside of a private space. So this is the sex offender that is engaging in terrorism.
engaging in federal stalking, pursuant to what is ongoing surveillance and ongoing invasion of privacy by entity, because that's what this is when you're engaging in federal stalking. And so they are patrolling inside of the restroom, and that will be on surveillance cameras. It's 12:40 p.m., and that is another door. That's the door sounding again, opening and closing. All right, that's audible activity creation. First of all, that's what I'm stating. All right, but second of all, there is also the fact that I'm in the bathroom. My voice. My using the restroom is serving that ongoing monitoring conduct. They're already sex offenders in that regard. This is affirmative conduct while you are engaging in federal stalking with the state pursuant to what is sexually motivated criminal activity. Okay, so this is the sex offender I'm documenting while I'm inside of the restroom. Surveillance cameras at 12:40 p.m. showing those sex offenders engaging in P.O.C. with the state activity created inside of the private space of the bathroom. It's 12:41 p.m. That's P.O.C. All right, Starbucks third-party group stalkers with the patrons of the Starbucks venue. I'm taking pictures of those who are surrounding in relevant position while Starbucks employees are engaged in what is the creation of ongoing amplified audible activity. They call the names of the patrons as a means of stalking with activity. So, for example, right now at 1:25 p.m., as I change functions on my phone, going from camera in order to open up my podcast app, with simultaneity to that, you have the Austin that calls the name of a group stalker. This calls for crossing the path. Directed light is continuously moving about inside of this venue, and they are engaging in ongoing. This is also analyzed as what is harassment. That is an inherent to the pattern of conduct. All right, engaging in not only the creation of noise pursuant to what you are physically doing, and doing what on a communication device, in an absolutely terrorizing environment. This is every single last one of them engaging in harassment together while federal stalking is underway and engaging in what is sexually violent and terrorism. All right, it is 1:26 p.m. and this is that ongoing pattern of conduct, and you're looking at what are demons. You're looking at the directed light I took a picture of that remains on my right side as I sit at the table facing the register. The state's fake sun remains over 706 West Holt. They enter and exit pursuant to what I am doing. They engage in positioning from one side of the room to the other side of the room in directed light pursuant to what I am doing. The employees engage in ongoing slamming of, this is ongoing noise, this is the booming of the walls, this is the creation of audible activity as they are creating drinks, right? And it is exceptionally loud banging and booming that they are creating in doing so. Engaging in calling a patron's name, which is a third-party group stalker, calling another group stalker this is the outward form of what is crossing a path as they do it with simultaneity to what I am doing. This is demonic activity, all right? I just want to document what's ongoing harassment, engaging in terrorism, sexual violence, pursuant to what is a criminal system of federal stalking inside of Starbucks. It's 1:27 p.m. That's P.O.C. All right, it is currently 2:55 p.m. Ongoing molestation of my person with directed light. The state is creating flashing light, and they are on surveillance cameras, which I continue to reference, and I'm referencing them right now as group stalkers fill the Starbucks cafe. And it is as though there is a photo shoot going on, okay? This is directed light that is flashing upon me while these demon-possessed stalkers are maintaining presence and engaging in federal stalking, trying to obstruct the ability to upload my videos to my Google Drive, interrupting internet. This is the federal stalking conduct. And this is also the touching with directed light. This is demonic activity. This is pursuant to what is terrorism. And the employees are a matter of documentation. The third-party group stalkers that are present on camera patrolling, they're literally demons that are maintaining presence inside, okay, while ridiculous light activity is accompanying their presence. It is currently 2:56 p.m.
All right, I went on and captured video real quick just to show my point. The fake sun's remaining over this venue since 8 o'clock this morning. 8GYN765, 6YGF927, 8CUW016, 7SED051, 7NMC505, 4ZXC150, 8XNU176, 6UUM884. All right, and what I capture on video, you clearly see not only is the state's fake sun over the venue of Starbucks at 706 West Holt since 8 o'clock, after 8 o'clock when I arrived. It's 2:56 p.m. when I'm capturing this video of what is the fake sun squarely over my head as I stand outside of the entrance of the venue. And that is literally, as I capture it after 8 a.m. this morning, where it's cozy right beside the logo of the Starbucks sign, you're talking about literally centimeters away from the same location I captured it over 5 hours ago, okay? 7SRW499, 6GND731 is the same group stalker's license plate, 6LWU103, Omnitrans engaging in P.O.C, 8XPY103. And you are also talking about, and that's specifically Omnitrans Route 61 going westbound, bus number 1361. You are also talking about MOONEYES. You're also talking about what is the impossibility of it being squarely over my head as I stand in front of 507 North Euclid Avenue, the Starbucks on Euclid. All right, in addition to being at Mercy House at the same time at 435 South Euclid Avenue. This is already documented. This being squarely above my head as I stand outside of the room of Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. All right, in addition to being directly over my head as I step outside of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library at 215 East C Street at the same time, where the fake sun has been heavily documented remaining over that venue. This is west of the library, and it is squarely over my head, which I would not be able to capture if it is if that was actually the sun, for example, at any of those venues. But I'm capturing this light source at this location, 8AEF181. This is Ontario Police monitoring with that third party. That's vehicle 1848 under the fake sun. All right, demon-possessed stalkers listening to me document their criminal activity. All of those stalkers engaging in what is monitoring on the surveillance cameras inside, which I continue to reference. All right, and also engaging in sexual molestation. Touch me with this demonic light that they're engaging in. And I showed what is the projection of light as my shadow is upright horizontally in front of me, feet away from me, while I'm standing at the door, okay? That's P.O.C, and I want to speak to that's the ongoing harassment, that's the ongoing terrorism, and that's the ongoing sexual violence while these demon-possessed stalkers surround inside. That's the psychopath. Absolutely nothing normal about this environment. It is revealing what is demonic activity. The directed light remains inside of the venue. Let me be clear, I just captured the state's fake sun as I stand outside of the sidewalk, and you have what is, and that's already establishing that's not the sun. This is speaking to what is P.O.C. But let me speak to what is the terrorism. Because you have, in addition to the light source over the venue, the state's directed light remaining as I enter, stretching across the floor, remaining on the side to my right as I capture group stalkers patrolling around me, and you have it in front of, coming through the entrance of the doors now. This is at an angle. This is under the covered walkway of the entrance. This is absolutely impossible light activity, while the state is engaging in ongoing movement of its directed light inside of the entire cafe, okay? So you're talking about moving its directed light from the east side of the building to the west side, and I've already captured the state's fake sun setting. And you're talking about setting, meaning the state kept its fake sun over this venue, as I documented in 2019. From the beginning of the day when I would come in the morning, this is when I was working on my civil case against the state of California, for which the state engaged in evasion of service of process, criminal obstruction of justice, Thomas Garza, all right, of the San Bernardino Superior Court. I was working on this case, and I would sit at Starbucks all day long, morning until the evening, and documented what is the remaining of the state's fake sun, engaging in what is keeping its light source over the property, and then engaging in changing the color of its light source, changing the color of the directed light, and it remained visible just like it was as I was looking through the door of the library yesterday evening at 6 p.m., remaining visible through the windows of Starbucks as though it is setting, remaining literally all day long. And so what you have right now is the state's fake sun over my head as I stand outside of the entrance, directed light, which is at an angle underneath the doorway of the entrance. This is impossible light, and this is also the light as I have documented and as I've shown what is the state's pattern of conduct, keeping its light, directed light, in the same position, aiming light at the same location while feigning, and this is failing to, but this is what the state tries to do. I'm breaking the system down, acting like that's the sun, and it is not, and you're looking at that based on the remaining of the light
the directed light that remains for the duration of the day, which is not the sun, okay? And the sun is not going to be visible over the same address. If the actual sun was physically seen over this address, that which is in constant motion would not be visible over 5 hours later, all right? The sun is in constant motion, and it is not remaining over Holt Boulevard now that I am on Holt, all right? As opposed to, like I documented before, remaining on Euclid Avenue now, at that time when I was on Euclid, where it literally did not migrate east or west at all. It literally stayed on Euclid Avenue, which is necessary in order to go from the museum to the library at the end of the day. The fake sun didn't go anywhere, all right? That's clearly not the sun. But in addition, you're talking about, don't forget about Economy Inn. You're talking about Mercy House at 435 South Bondview, which are far from Euclid Avenue and Holt Boulevard. You are talking about, and I mean at that central area of Holt and Euclid. Those are spanning distances. And you're also including, remember, the state's remaining of its light source in alignment with me at Norm's restaurant, which I captured not only en route to that restaurant, but you're talking about on the West Freeway, the 10 West Freeway, after it remained physically present over that building, it remains in the window of the vehicle as we are traveling north of Euclid Avenue, and then she gets on the 10 West Freeway. This is a third party that's acting with the state. She gets on the 10 West Freeway as though that makes it realistic because we're driving in the west direction, all right? That's what I was speaking to as I was documenting that criminal activity by Tracy Banks acting in concert with the state. You have what is the absence of any form whatsoever, and this is revealing what is demonic activity, terrorism, facilitated and engaged in directly by, vicariously on behalf of the state, by Starbucks, okay? Terrorism, understand, engaged in practice. Let me make it even clearer. Satan is running Starbucks. That is not cool at all, and that's in direct conflict with anything they would ever put in a commercial, okay? And that's the reality. That's what's wrong with every single last one of them, all right? And you are talking about engaging in facilitation of that demented, sexually violent terrorism, which is what federal stalking is amongst a bunch of demon-possessed actors, which is what this is, all right? Engaging in that at this venue, 706 West Holt Boulevard, west of 215 East C Street, far from what is any of the other venues that I systematically documented, especially while I have documented being over what is the T-Mobile, and then you're not talking about some relative view. The state keeps its flight source squarely over my head, directly over me, in alignment with me, all right? That is the other impossible aspect of it, all right? The state is very, very precise with its stalking conduct, all right? It's stalking with light because demons are stalking in concert with that state. It is 3:04 p.m. That's P.O.C. 7HBP010. 7ZXC150. I believe I read that one already. And again, I want to be clear, Ontario Police, I believe I stated it, but I just want to make sure I clarify. Ontario Police crossing path on Holt Boulevard, that is the same demon-possessed stalkers crossing path under the fake sun. While, by the way, I am speaking to the criminal activity and the terrorism engaging in, understand that incredible circumstance is the absence of coincidence, especially when you're talking about that ongoing documented criminal activity of that agency and their ongoing outward demonstration of demon possession, that entire department, okay? Engaging in repeated acts of stalking and doing so. Understand this is terrorism, and this is set apart because this is the state acting directly, engaging in federal stalking, engaging in terrorism based on not only the demonic activity. These are demon-possessed stalkers of the Ontario Police Department. They have engaged in acts of kidnapping. They represent law enforcement, engaging in federal stalking. That's an intent to terrorize alone. And acting in concert and facilitating this federal stalking conduct and demonic activity amongst the people of the state of California, that's also an intent to terrorize, all right? It is 3:07 p.m. P.O.C. All right, what I took images of are the group stalkers that are maintaining presence inside of the venue, engaging in stalking and surveillance with the state and terrorism because this is demonic, the ongoing environment. You have what is the presence now, the visible presence, like I spoke to before as I captured my shadow upright, a distance away from me on the bar, and understand that that's directed light. What I took a picture of right now at 3:22 p.m. is you are seeing the concentrated directed light on the ground, which is getting taller, meaning it is shooting eastward inside of the building.
while by the way, my shadow appearing upright onto the bar while I am facing the drive-through area. I'm facing basically east inside of the venue. That is directed light, okay? And this is the same directed light, for example, what I captured in video, countless videos at Economy Inn, where it appears as though you are in the shade, but I am showing you what is actually molestation with directed light, as my shadow is appearing in the shade. Okay, so I'm inside of the building, and again, it appears as though there's no light there, but you see the shadow, all right, and that is directed light that is being horizontally aimed, projected. Why does that light exist? Because that is not occurring from any position of the fake sun, first of all, nor the position of the actual sun, which is not only over 706 West Holt. That is not sunlight that's going to result, even if the sun actually was present over the venue. Like I said, this would be downward trajectory of sunlight creating shade, not light horizontally being shot onto the surfaces and moving around. This is the directed light activity. This is demonic, all right? This is pursuant to federal stalking. And what I also want to document as I take pictures of the group stalkers. These are demons, and the light is moving all around as I take pictures of them, okay? So let me be clear, not only is this federal stalking, this is the demonic communication of hostility, and I want to make sure that that is ongoing while I take pictures of what are group stalkers. They're monitoring, and they are engaging in the conduct with the state that is surrounding with moving light. It's like a carousel of light, just moving all around, underneath the bar, on the ceilings, on the walls, while the state is keeping, this is layered directed light, just like I showed yesterday at the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. The state is aiming light horizontally onto the surface, on the ground, reaching into the depths of the library. And then you have another layer of directed light as the group stalkers, those demon-possessed stalkers, open and close the door. So you have both stationary light, and also what you have is moving light, that's dynamic light that is moving at the same time that the door is opening and closing, which is no reflection of light. That is the state that is moving light at the same time that the door is moving, and third parties are acting pursuant to that by opening and closing the door. This is the same thing the state does as group stalkers cross path in vehicles. That is not light that is bouncing off of vehicles. That is the state moving light at the same time that group stalkers are crossing path. While, mind you, the state is keeping its fake sun over my head and in alignment to me over any venue, just as is occurring at Starbucks at 706 West Holt. So I want to be clear, what you have is the appearance, suddenly, of directed light on the opposite side of the building now, from the entrance doors, stretching taller, and that is also layered. That's distinct, that's different light than that which was being projected horizontally through the doors, creating my shadow that was upright at a distance away from me, showing on the bar. This is called layering of directed light, okay? And then you have what the state is engaging in ongoing movement of directed light all over the Starbucks, just ongoing movement of light, okay? This is absolutely impossible, never naturally occurring from sunlight, in addition to the actual light source, which is over the venue. But understand that this layering of directed light, this is the state that is aiming directed light in every multiple direction, okay? That is not coming from the state's light source. The state's light source is speaking to what is the centrality of every group stalker's focus, which is me. That's why it's remaining over the venue, why it remains over my head, all right? In direct conflict, and this is the demonic aspect, in direct conflict with nature and everything that is objectively established based on documentation. But you are speaking to what are the focus of these demons that surround, and it is me they're monitoring, okay? You have what is that layering of directed light, moving light inside of the venue, placing it on the surfaces, which now you're seeing it on the opposite side, just like you saw it this morning upon my entrance. That is also not going to happen with the actual sun, which would never under any circumstances actually be over the same building for a series of hours now. We're actually at 3:27 p.m. But this is the pattern of conduct, and this is the ongoing pattern of conduct every venue where I'm going, and you're seeing it, and this is what the state is engaging in. This is the communication of a threat by the third-party group stalkers, the people who are engaging in what is demonic as federal stalking is underway, okay? So while the state is aiming this light, just like where the state is stalking with helicopters, just as the state stalks by police officers, and ambulance and fire department, understand they also engaged in kidnapping. They represent the same threat. That is the state, the people of the state. They are not in any way distinct from that. They are engaging in that ongoing threat, that unprecedented and unlawful threat, intending to terrorize, providing that ongoing facilitation to the entity that's operating this criminal system. And that's also what I am documenting as I'm speaking to what the state is doing moment by moment inside of the venue where federal stalking under 18 U.S.C. 2261A, both subsections 1 and 2 is underway. It's 3:28 p.m. and that is the growth of directed light shooting eastward onto the surfaces that is on the ground, inside of the venue while directed light remains, and that's why you saw my shadow upright onto the bar. That is different directions of light, directed light being shot through the through the venue, okay? I just want to make sure I clarify that what you're seeing on the floor is layered with what is being shot horizontally through the venue, creating my shadow upright. That's different. This is multiple directions of directed light and ongoing directed light that is moving about inside of the venue constantly, okay? This is stalking with light occurring with simultaneity to what I do, especially as I take pictures of group stalkers. And this is also in concert with the group stalkers that work here that are stalking with noise, okay? That is ongoing terrorism. They are acting in concert. This light activity and this audible activity that they are stalking with. This is entirely demonic, all right? It's 3:29 p.m., that's P.O.C.
6LKT333. It's 8:39 p.m. I have more analysis to add. I am leaving from third-party facilitating venue Starbucks at 706 West Hall, headed toward third-party facilitating venue at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. It's 8:39 p.m. All right, seconds after I just made that note on my podcast, which again I noted the time as, I believe it was 8:38 p.m. It was just moments ago. As soon as I do that, you have what is the state that arrives in helicopter 7YN198. I can't really see that one. They are driving inside of the Ontario Village, entering at the DD's discounts area where the subway is, fleeing in a white SUV, parking right in front of the smoke shop of Hope Boulevard at 628, the suite 628 of the smoke shop at 8:42 p.m. They're crossing path, they're stalking with light, and doing so as I start recording this podcast. Anyway, seconds after, let me get this one because it's the same entity, 8FLB990. Moments after I record that note, you have the state that immediately flies over. So understand the state is already stalking by helicopter. It was already present, okay? Immediately sounds and flies over me at the street. And a group stalker, that is the people of the state, stops in the middle of the street. All right, by in the middle of the street, I don't mean in the middle of the road. Stops on the sidewalk in the middle of the street. It's not a parking spot. It's not anywhere you're supposed to stop. They just stop, turn their hazards on as the helicopter flies over, okay? That's the stalking with light conduct, and it is absolutely demonic, and you see the criminal and demonic teamwork that is occurring, and it is with simultaneity to what I was doing, which is both operation of my communication device, but that is also the demonic behavioral pattern. License 7YAK331. That is also the demonic behavioral pattern, especially as the entity listens to me and is exceedingly hostile to everything that it listens to me document, right? So I say, I'm going to add some more analysis. I'm leaving the venue, going to another venue. The second that I end that, this group stalker pulls up and stops, turns on their hazards, and the state is also immediately simultaneous. It's simultaneous concerted conduct. State is flying over in a helicopter, all right? That's established stalking conduct by the state. Stalking by light, which I am demonstrating, this is what the people are doing. That's an established behavioral pattern by the state. All right, the vicarious aspect of the state, the people. All right, and you're looking at it simultaneously as I pointed out, and I took a video of that. Right, I just want to make a note. That's immediately what happened. It's pursuant to exactly what I did, which was operation of my phone. This is federal stalking. They're monitoring. But I also want to be clear what you're witnessing, that's demonic. And there is clear teamwork amongst the people and the state that is stalking directly via planes and helicopters, police, fire, and ambulance. Okay, it is 8:44 p.m. That's P.O.C. I do continue to walk toward the museum. And again, I am standing in that video right now that just occurred moments ago with the state stalking at the Ontario Village. That's where I'm standing. I'm standing on the sidewalk near the Habit restaurant, which is enveloped within the plaza of the Ontario Village Shopping Center at Hope Boulevard, okay, having just left Starbucks, located at 706 West Hall. All right, so let me document another one. 42736 Robert 1. All right. It is currently 8:44 p.m. and that's P.O.C. And as I walk, two of my shadows are in front of me side by side. It looks like there's two people walking and it's just me, and they are side by side. Okay. 8 MTR 449, I believe. Substantially similar. They are all monitoring on the run. As you see, helicopter arrives and they engage in stalking with light. This is demonic activity, and they are monitoring on the run. So this is speaking to what is a matter of public corruption in the state of California, and I am literally exposing it. It is 8:45 p.m. That's P.O.C. MG 185. 7YNM384. It's 8:52 p.m. At the intersection on camera. This is federal stalking at the traffic cameras at Euclid and Holt. They're all monitoring. And it is, let me get this license, 7KHD048, 7BHB869, 8MXW672. See, 67519M2 for PWC 516. That is AX10K36 paper. BART, I can't see that one. 4VYS 612, 8CRU 189, 7KEA 608. It's 8:54 p.m. Those are really loud crickets. That's called amplification of any kind of noise. 6XCY 659, 8EXG 284, 6EW something 440. That's a Mustang. Can't really see it. You can't see that one either. It is 8:55 p.m. You hear that? That's called audible activity. The state is maintaining an environment. Everything that you hear is intentional. Okay? 8JDN 652. And so what is ongoing, as I've already established, directed light maintains. The state is also stalking via helicopter, just like I showed down the street. The state is stalking at all times and is maintaining light, and they're maintaining presence. License 94929W2. And I was documenting this all day long inside of Starbucks. 7VDS631. It is 8:56 p.m. This directed light filling that venue of Starbucks at 706 West Holt. Okay? Eight DRM 568. You can go. Oh. 5630102. 8HTM 573. 8UUP 925. Ontario Police stalking and molesting because I'm standing in directed light. I got more than one shadow. 8SGP 474. Ontario Police stalking with light again, just like I captured last night on Euclid, like I captured this morning on Holt Boulevard. Stalking with light right now, acting with a third party, creating light activity in relevant position in directed light. There is no form, okay? State is stalking by planes and helicopters, demon-possessed agency, acting with the people, criminal facilitation of federal stalking. It is 8:57 p.m. 6HUB 516, 8TZW 744, all of them monitoring with the Ontario Police, so you document the people. I've already heavily documented the police department. 6G65464, all right? So let me show you this. All right, I did document the Ontario Police Department and license 1591657, vehicle number 1012, arriving, monitoring with that while I use my camera, 8NGL003, crossing path in directed light, monitoring to the Ontario Police Department creation of light using their police vehicles just like I captured last night and this morning again, okay? Under the fake sun, by the way, and in directed light, they are monitoring, and it's demon possession. 8SBC441. That is Amtrak monitoring with the Ontario Police. All right, it is. So let me also bring also the rest to you. You got the people that stop doing the exact same thing with the helicopter. Stops at the side of the street, turns on their hazards. Do you understand that the helicopter and the police vehicle, they're doing the exact same thing? He stops, and it's supposed to be caused by the Ontario Police that stopped him. All right, let me get this license. This is Ontario Police Vehicle 1870, license plate 1510835. It is 9 p.m. and they are on traffic cameras proceeding south on Euclid Avenue right now. That was nothing but federal stalking, and that is exactly what I documented amongst the police department as I was going from county to county and city to city, and the police were engaging in ubiquitous presence everywhere that I went. And that is one of the ways in which they maintain presence, engaging in what is a traffic stop while they are monitoring together the people and the police, okay? Engaging in what is detaining someone on the sidewalk, just standing around them, using their vehicles as light, all right? Engaging in maintaining presence in the path everywhere that I'm going. And I mean city to city to city, Orange County, Los Angeles County, San Bernardino County. That is the form that the Ontario Police, or that the police in general use, and they are monitoring together. And I want to be clear, the people using their hazard lights as the police, which is the state engaging in form, is light activity, stalking in the path. The people using their hazards as the helicopter flies over me was simultaneity to the use of my phone. That is the same exact monitoring conduct. Let me be clear, okay? It's the state and third-party criminal activity together, and it's it's demonic conduct. Understand, they are letting you know by that conduct that they are demon possessed. That is also what is ongoing, okay? License 8DIB875, please, essentially similar. License plate 00314W2. All right, and you are literally dealing with what are psychopaths wearing Ontario police uniforms. Those are some desperate actors because they don't even have a leg to stand on, and you are looking at what are psychopaths engaging in criminal activity and just trying to hold on to some inkling, some notion of credibility, excuse me, the word I'm looking for is authority, all right? And they don't have any, they're criminals, 7TLY198. And this is public corruption, and you see how the police monitor with the people of the state. That's exactly what you witness. How the police monitor with the people of the state of California, 4VAN128. The criminal pattern of conduct is underway. The state is stalking by plane, helicopter, police, fire, and ambulance, all right? 7YGT718. 6ZQA144, the state is maintaining an environment conducive for federal stalking, which is also a terrorizing environment, as these are all demon-possessed individuals acting collectively pursuant to that criminal system, all right? There is zero form. And the Ontario Police Department, they continue to demonstrate before you, because all I'm doing is publishing the documentation of what are third parties. You can hand a third party a ticket. The criminal pattern of conduct is underway. You engage in all the elements, and you engage in criminal facilitation. And you also engaged in what is the outward demonstration of demon possession while you fail to act as though you are doing something else when you are actually monitoring. That's what the demons do. Okay, 7EZH622. That's what psychopaths do. Those are psychopaths wearing Ontario police uniforms. All right, and the facts speak for themselves. 4VAN120. Literally under the fake sun, and that was clearly the fake sun. I mean, and a spectacular display of directed light while the police department are monitoring using their vehicles, and that is to be addressed by federal legislation. Their criminal use of their very vehicles, their very positions in order to engage in federal stalking. That's how this whole system is maintained, by the way. There's so much that has to change under federal policy. 7LNT429. That's how public corruption is maintained. That's how they engage in it in plain sight. 6JWN332. So you dismember you basically dismantle their ability to use their very positions for criminal activity. And that starts with getting rid of the fallacy that the government is not monitoring American citizens, because that's a fallacy. 7JYM994. That's a fallacy. It's a farce. Oh, they are very much engaged in monitoring. Very much engaged in what is absolutely corrupt and desperate to no end to try to conceal it, which further confirms and incriminates them and the vicarious aspect of that entity, which shall be prosecuted, okay? So I am standing in directed light. The state is stalking with sirens. That is P.O.C. That's how the entirety of the conduct is. They are, at this juncture, embarrassing themselves and prosecuting themselves. Standing in directed light, sounding sirens is the pattern of conduct, ANGJO1. That's P.O.C. And furthermore, that's amplification, okay? While the state is stalking by helicopters, you're monitoring. 88188M1. All right, those are demons. And they are pathetic, okay? And they have no business in law enforcement. They're going to be snatched out of those fire department trucks, out of those positions, and snatched out of those emergency medical positions. They have no business in that. That's the Ontario Fire Department. Indirected light, stalking in the path, criminal facilitation, using their vehicles as a means of monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2261A. That's exactly what they were doing with the police. That's exactly what you witnessed with the helicopter flying over me that I captured on video. The fire department using their vehicles, creating light, also creating audible activity, which, by the way, was amplified, and immediately stops after they pass me at the intersection of Euclid and Holt. And in addition, what you have are the people that are loitering in relevant position at the traffic light. That is the same use of their vehicles, all right? They are both patrolling in traffic as Holt Boulevard is moving and stationary on Euclid as they stop at the lights. It is the exact same P.O.C. That is the state and third parties acting together. License 8WGT845, 6WZP832, 5AGD519. And I documented demon-possessed actors all day long, okay? And so let me also point out something else to you. It is beyond a coincidence that I am encountering helicopter, police, and fire as I walk less than half a mile down the street, and I happen to be documenting what is federal stalking by the government. That's the absence of coincidence as well. 8WLV022. In addition to the fact that I continue to document and observe what is my shadow, absolutely unnatural light activity, in other words, standing next to each other, multiple shadows, 8WYT168, while the state wants to use their emergency vehicles for criminal activity. All right? That is also directly incriminating. Everything, I have already established it. I'm just pointing it out to you. All right? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you what I told you. Okay? License plate, 8TSV306. These are psychopaths. These are demons, and they are already defeated. It's pathetic. All right? 8JLC644, 8TSV306, I believe I just read that one. When I say I'm not only prosecuting, I am prescribing. And I do mean that, because you are looking at what is a level of, you're talking about a psychopath. A psychopath knows exactly what they're doing. A psychopath has an agenda to continue to do it and try to get away with it. You are 7BCW884, I believe. A psychopath also derives pleasure out of doing that which is wicked, that which is demented, that which is they know is weird and peculiar, and wants to try to conceal that. That's exactly what is characterizing this which is demonic activity. All right. And so I want to be clear. You are talking about prescribing as a matter of understanding what is the criminal system underway, and it is public corruption, those who are in positions and abusing those positions, engaging in rampant criminal activity and enabling a people to engage in it with them. Okay, all of them together are engaging in what is demonic activity, because demon possession is what is ruling. All right, these are all demon possessed individuals, and I am prescribing, first of all, that needs to be exposed. All right, that's where it loses its power. First of all, you need to understand that you're dealing with a demon-possessed person. All of them. They're engaging in the system together. It is demonic. The environment is demonic. The conduct they are engaging in together is demonic. These are demon-possessed individuals, and there is no exception. I need to make that clear. All right, and I'm not only prosecuting because you are not insane such that you don't know what you're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They have engaged in, as I have documented, ongoing malicious conduct seeking to conceal and avoid prosecution. All right, intentionally engaging in that abuse of whatever position or label identity that they think that they have that supersedes the criminal pattern of conduct that is established, and it doesn't. All right, it does not in any way, and there is no exception. You want to sound sirens in directed light where the state is already established as a stalker in planes and helicopters by police, fire, and ambulance. All right, that is the pattern of conduct, and you are using your
position sounding those sirens for that criminal purpose. That is why that environment is ongoing. That is not happening coincidentally. It is not happening out of the ignorance of those state actors. And it is absolutely unreasonable and absurd to try to suggest that it doesn't exist. Those same state actors engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping, obstruction of justice upon my awareness of it and beginning to document it. They are engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct, using their positions to do so, using those vehicles. And they need to be snatched out of those vehicles. That's what's going to happen. Snatched out of those positions, snatched out of that industry. They have no business in those positions whatsoever. All right. You're talking about psychopaths who are doing Lord knows what else that is unknown. OK, because they're in a position where they are not worthy. They are not trustworthy, and they are corrupt. All right. And so I am speaking to what is an unprecedented criminal act by a government, and a government that is determined and has been determined to try to conceal it. All right, and so at the core of it, like I said, is demon possession, and that's exactly what the Ontario Police Department continues to expose about itself. I am letting you know what is the translation based on their conduct. I'm letting you know what they're telling you, because you're looking at it with your own eyes. I'm reciting it to you as they are doing it, and you're also listening to what is a pattern of conduct, because they're doing it over and over and over again. All right, you can change the face. All right, you can even change the vehicle using your hazard lights versus using a police vehicle. It's still light activity. Right? And it's still occurring in the same environment. And it's still occurring pursuant to this ongoing pattern of what I happen to be doing. All right? That's not a matter of an ongoing coincidence, especially as you're going from place to place, region to region. This is long-term documentation establishing what is the state's pattern of conduct of federal stalking. And it is beyond that. It is beyond federal stalking. It is a matter of terrorism, because this is satanic at its root. So you have you have a government engaging in what is satanic conduct together, which is also criminal. And it is serving to terrorize an American citizen. And this is how the United States, this is how they terrorize. They are terrorists. And that is no exaggeration whatsoever. What the state does with light, what the state is doing in the environment, what the state is doing for a criminal purpose, what the state is doing in with regard to the actors, their identity, and the conduct that they're engaging in together everywhere you go, and then trying to conceal the fact that they are doing that, that is terrorism. All right. And it is absolutely unlawful, and it is designed to conceal itself. So you blow that entire system up. All right. And you prosecute for every type of violation, because it's not just one violation. There are many, and there are many different types and methods of violating, and you can prosecute for every single last one of them, because the government, first and foremost, has no business engaging in what is monitoring and what is stalking by an entity. All right. This is the state that is a sex offender. This is a state that is a kidnapper. This is a state that is a stalker. This is a state that is enabling and facilitating such egregious criminal activity amongst a group. That group is unprecedented. It is the people of the state of California, and it is indiscriminate. All right. So it is 9:12 p.m. and that is P.O.C. That's light activity and amplified audible activity. Flashing light across this museum as I'm sitting on the ground. All right, and just as I've shown in the video, this is P.O.C, but I just want to be clear. This is literal flashing light moving across this wall as I'm sitting down on the ground at the museum. And the state begins this train activity the moment that I stop streaming online. I've been looking at YouTube videos. That's called stalking with activity, as I engage in a new activity. It's 12:02 a.m. on Monday, September 6, 2021, and I want to document the state has been engaged in ongoing use of its sirens and ongoing helicopter activity, and this train activity, turning up the volume substantially loud. It's already amplified activity. The state engages in exaggerating that amplified activity as though it wants to divert my attention away from watching YouTube videos. Right? I'm dealing with this is demonic, okay? I'm publishing documentation, and I also engage in what is disregarding, essentially, and the state is just sounding sirens and helicopter activity as though it's seeking attention or something. I just want to document what the state has been engaged in for the past couple of hours. And right now, this is P.O.C, and this is acting via the Amtrak train station. Again, this is not an Amtrak train.
This is a train that is used on the tracks, and the state literally just runs a train back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and creates light activity because this is flashing light in the same way that the state fills the Starbucks, for example, with its directed light. This is directed light that is used as a means of flashing against this wall as a train is in motion, as the state is amplifying the sound of a train. Okay, that's P.O.C. Because there is no light over there that is reaching this distance, hitting the wall, in the same way that headlights from Euclid Avenue, Holt Boulevard are not reaching to the south end. That's the same state. That's the state's same exact directed light. It is 12:04 a.m. The state has been engaged in that very conduct, that's stalking with activity, but I just want to document the state was doing the same with sirens and helicopter activity. It is Monday, September 6, 2021, and it's 12:04 a.m. That's P.O.C.